Two hot dogs.
Marcus with the glizzy. What up, JTO? Back in your face. Just talking online. I'm Jerry.
I'm Marcus.
And we're back at you.
He's been avoiding this two hot dog convo. He don't want that heat.
I don't give a shit about hot dogs. His hot take just a second ago before we started this was people are putting a lot of things on hot dogs.
A lot. Y'all don't even know.
Yeah, they know. Everyone knows. It's not a thing. No one cares.
They don't even know.
No one gives a shit.
These hot dogs.
If you want to take it to a different level, know that people are putting stuff inside of hot dogs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, now
you've won.
That new reality.
Yeah, you've won.
Mm-hmm.
You've won.
How have you been this week, man? Besides
big game, big gyms. I've been fully distracted by that show we talked about on the last couple episodes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Billions. Well, you were in the billions before, but you went on binge.
Yeah, I mean, it starts really slow, and I mean, I think there's something to all the shows that start slow because I'm starting to see a pattern with that. You don't like it that much when it first starts. It's whatever, and then you wake up one day and it's like, yeah, but I finished it.
Yeah, you gotta let it breathe a little bit. We gotta get everyone involved.
Yeah.
You gotta show who they are.
Proper build up.
Then you let them wild out. You think it's all safe out here.
Yeah. And it reminds me almost of like Death Note, if you remember that.
I remember. I didn't watch it though.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like the same kind of a premise. Two people that are really powerful or head to head. They're in the case of Death Note, it's just one person on the other side. But in this case, too big. They have groups behind them. My people versus your people. We duke it out till somebody goes down. Mm-hmm. Nobody goes down for a long time, except the casualties.
Yeah. I will. So one thing I really like about the show, I wanted to see what you thought about it, are the lines of good and evil, and establishing where they are and even within the characters. Have you seen how they play with those ideas, or what's your take on how they play with those ideas?
Well, I like it because they directly buck against it, and one of the parts that I thought was really telling in that was yeah, one of the things I thought was really telling for how they blur those lines and how they're trying to almost throw it in your face that they're blurring those lines is when they're starting off with Chuck and Wendy, or there's a character, he's a lawyer, he has his wife, they're both main characters, and they have like a BDSM relationship. But within that, you're seeing like they start that off blurring lines between what they're even doing, because when she finally goes off and she cheats, that becomes a thing. But for that to even become a conversation, they talk about that before in like a play session, but he takes that seriously, so that comes back, and it's like, oh, but it wasn't like really that bad because these were the circumstances, and that kind of told me that was just going to be the way going forward. Or the at the very beginning, you have the kid that he's getting arrested, and he's like, yeah, you just lock people up. Like, that's just all you're doing. And he's like, well, yeah, but if I don't do that, like, well, what? Everyone's going to litter on the floor, and you'll have trash up to the ceilings. Just give it time. So you can't blame either side, but you see both sides are kind of full of shit as time goes on.
Yeah. I guess I'm more referring to more of the second type more than the first example. Because the first example is more like I guess it's a little more ambiguity, but that's more just like private life. That's not really affecting anyone outside of, or anyone really.
Well, I think the show goes beyond even good and bad, and it goes into the fact that everything is context and nothing's an isolated incident. And I think that's what the show's good at carrying over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but actions can be good or bad, but they can be both.
Yeah.
Just depending on who's arguing it. And then even people that are in positions to do good doing bad things to do good, or even blurring that line of being in a good position and doing things to be bad. Um, and those lines are constantly blurred in there where like all of the if you started in season one, like literally episode one, and you're introduced to the characters that you're introduced to, in those first like 3 episodes, there's lines drawn, right? It's Axe versus I'm blanking on his name.
Chuck.
Axe versus Chuck, right? These are the two. Axe seems protagonist, Chuck is antagonist. These are the lines drawn. Make teams. We're cheering for Axe. Break the law or buck the law. But then, as Axe evolves, you either embrace what he's becoming or you don't. And then same in Chuck's pursuit of Axe caused him to become a different thing as well. So yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of people bringing people down to each other's levels. People bring people up to different challenges, like of engagements, like you're kind of only as strong as your opponent, kind of thing. So you don't know how hard you can swing until someone's throwing haymakers at your face. And then even the way they play with the closeness of everyone in that environment, like they're all super entangled. Yeah. So it's just a cool show.
My main characters that I feel like tell a lot about the show are Wendy and there's another attorney that he's kind of an assistant to the main attorney, Chuck Connerty. Them two I feel like they tell a lot about just they explain the blur and they put a lot into the context in different ways, or they both do it in all ways, just at different times. But like Connerty, his is the story of kid that has really idealistic ideas, getting his whole world dragged in the mud, and then having to operate with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's his difficulty. And for Wendy, it's the difficulty of you're literally in between two people that are destroying each other's worlds, and you're sitting in between both of them.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with just constant casualties mixed with having to comfort these people and talking to them about it while trying to maintain a certain distance, and that plays itself out to really flesh out the ambiguity in the actions they're taking, because they both of them end up running back to her after almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she almost always plays devil's advocate to whatever their position is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it fleshes all of that out in a way that's really clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's probably the best character development I've seen in not a long time. There's a lot of great characters out here.
It's like they have a good web of characters.
The web is probably the most tangled web. I think I can say that more confidently.
Yeah.
It's probably the most tangled web of characters that I've seen. Yeah, because it's really all sides.
Yeah, because I don't really even think any particular character is too strong of a character. It's just that I think that the context thing goes all the way through. Like this context game that they play in the show makes that web get stronger and stronger, and it gets nastier.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's vengeance. You never know when the guy you did wrong is gonna come back. Like, hey, you hold my watch.
Super strong side characters. I feel that's becoming. I'm thinking about that's kind of becoming more important than ever. Like we have these fleshing out these worlds. Those side pieces need to really hit.
Yeah.
Because they kind of carry a lot of moments, plot, and when they get more interesting, it just brings up the whole thing as a whole.
Yeah, and I've been noticing they've been getting away from. They've been doing that, and they've been getting away from the like cookie cutter. There's always a new villain kind of a thing, because I feel like that's what weakens these different productions, because that's what makes Billions good. They have a good number of side characters, and they add on once in a while, but they really flesh one out, and then they put out a new one.
Yeah, I will say though, I guess it hasn't really. They do kind of play with the villain thing a bit, or not like adversary. Cause
yeah,
they're not villainous. They just have their own agenda.
Yeah, and they call them players in the show. That's what I also like.
Oh, yeah, players get word for it. So, yeah, other players do come on the board and try to fuck shit up. So they actually do. I think later on they do actually kind of go into those things because the infighting has gotten so deep at some like you're on the. No, actually, you're not yet. Yeah, they haven't really. Like, they're still kind of like us against the ops, but like that in that pursuit of that, it's messy and like so there a lot infighting is gonna happen and like just relationships are strained and some are strengthened, some are weakened, and all that shit's gonna happen. So I'm on 5, I think. And they start bringing in like, all right, we need them to shoot other people because like otherwise we're gonna end it because it just like it's a constant Mexican standoff because they're just so entangled. Even then when they're like, I hate you, it's like at some point it's like, all right, if we have nukes pointed at each other, if you die, we all die. So yeah, yeah.
That's a good analogy of it. It's a Mexican standoff with nukes. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that everyone behind both guys is like, yo, don't shoot.
No, they're not though. That's what I'm saying. They're not. Everyone like, because they're all crazy. Like everyone that see this one saying, like you don't know how crazy everyone is yet, but just know that everyone is fucking crazy. Like even if you're like, they're the staple. Nope. Keep watching.
You thought.
Like there's not a person that's not crazy. Like everyone's like has their own batshit brand of like whatever, and that's real. Like that's just what it is. Everyone believes wild shit, and is willing to do things to achieve their own goals.
And I like the intensity of the like writing that's been happening more and more in these shows because there's a character Dake, and he's investigating the main attorney. He's trying to take him down, but all of his investigations are like the most intense thing ever. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here looking at all of his interviews like, man, is that how you use silence? Like, is that the W right there? You just gotta really space those words out because he had me on the edge of the seat like I'm almost answering the question like ooh this is chilling.
There's some cool quotes you can come away with too.
The references go everywhere.
References are all over the place. Yeah, but I mean just straight cold shit is said where you're just like I can't wait until I can say it to somebody. Like just like can't wait until the position where I'm just like. Or even just like some certain points made, like Wendy, she's so brilliant. Like, but when she's breaking down some different bigger ideas later on, makes you like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Billions is awesome. We'll talk about it more when you get another 2 seasons because a lot happens in 4 and 5.
Okay.
I gotta finish as well. I've been watching other stuff. I go on speed runs. I've been watching a lot of gaming speed runs. I watched Mario Galaxy or whatever one it was.
Oh, okay. I think they have another one.
Then there's a lot of them, but because it wasn't like new or anything, just there's a lot of speed runs. So and there's one like channel that does like they bring in speedrunners. They do a whole game, and the whole time there's a crowd behind them. They have like a bench with I guess their friends or their team, and yeah, and they're raising money for like cancer and like different charities the entire time. So they're reading donations. The announcers reading donations when they have like pauses and stuff like that. It's really games done quick is the channel.
Okay.
So it's really cool. So I've been watching a lot of those and just like Mario is an incredible franchise, but just the designers of it, the people that make the game design. Because I watched one on Mario 64, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had Nintendo 64 when it came out, like pretty immediately. Mario 64 was the first game I had, so I played the fuck out of this game. Is what I'm saying. I know this game, like I been all the levels. I don't think I ever beat it. I didn't beat Bowser last time. I never saw the ending, like because I see the ending. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching speed run. It's a complete speed run, and he gets all 120 stars. You get like 10 stars per map or something like that, and however many maps. Dude, incredible! He does this all in 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes. Gets all this shit. He's showing me different parts of levels I've never seen, whole bosses I've never fought and seen. I'm like, he's in whole different parts of the tower. He's winning races, jumping off cliffs, like, and so like my takeaway was just, this guy's incredible. These people are wildly skilled at this. Yeah. But then also, this game was incredible. Like even back then, like all the world differences. There's a snow level, desert level. You race a penguin, you race a turtle, you fight a king bomb, you fight this Olmec temple looking dude. You capture like a vulture, rabbits. You save a tiny penguin. You have to fight Bowser like 3 times. This is all happening in Peach's castle, and each level is in a painting. So you have to like jump into the painting, and then there's a whole new world. But even Peach's castle's crazy. The basement, it's a moat. You drain the moat. At some point, there's another level down there. It's just so much shit. Like the flying caps, like he has the cap with wings, and then you can fly. There's Metal Mario comes from there. Creates a metal suit. Invisible Mario, where you can go through the walls. There's whole levels in the basement where you're going through the walls. There's haunted houses. There's ghosts in the basement. And if you hit one of the ghosts, he has a whole level inside of him. It's just like, yo, this game. And this was back in 64. And I'm watching this Galaxy thing, and I'm just like, what the fuck? It's so big.
Yeah.
There were and he's speed running through it, so he's purposely passing stuff, and he's just like doing these incredible shortcuts, and just that were built in. He's not even like cheating, because that goes back to but that made me go back to old school Super Nintendo or regular Nintendo, where like on the second level you play, second level, you go into the like sewer,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole level.
Yeah.
But there's that part where you can go, like the little steel pipes are falling and you jump, but you can ride one up and you can run across the map on top.
Mm.
You kind of know what I'm talking? Like, you never.
No.
You never. Well, yeah. All right. So like in the levels, you could ride the little pipes or like little elevators, so you're like platforming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you run across, and like there was even one that had run all the way through the map, and there'd be like the 3 secret tubes
Pipes.
that
Yeah.
take you to, you can skip world and shit. They did that, but like in 3D. Like they never lost those aspects of it. So you could like go through the course this way, or you could just kind of jump over this wall if you make the jump, and you can just go through it. We put coins up here to even let you know that we knew you could do this.
I feel like Nintendo was the only game company that's maintained having all of that. Like, I don't want to just call it innovation, but they it's like a creativity they've maintained.
It's massive, like
Yeah,
and just
It's a different level.
yeah,
And it's sustainable for them.
Yeah, because they allowed them to do anything. So it's really whatever we can think of, and they do, and they don't shy away from what seems to be some dumbass ideas.
Yeah,
Because they execute like motherfuckers.
yeah, and they always put
I
it.
meant that in all due respect. 'Cause I came out crazy, but I just big ups.
And I like the way they put it. They put it back into their iconic characters, so that gives them the room to be able to do other games. Like I feel like they experiment with like their Mario's.
Well,
their
that's what the thing they do.
yeah,
Like, it's
but
not
I feel like they
debatable.
do that so they can make the other games less so, and those will still
What do
bring
you
it.
mean?
Because I feel like Legend of Zelda, or there's Legend of Zelda. There's let's run through them. There's Mario Kart, Smash Bros. These are the games I feel like they kind of have a recipe, and they don't need to change too much. They improve the graphics, maybe add some levels, throw you back in, you're good. But like the Mario games, they kind of go out of their way to really turn it up
But see,
on
you're not
crazy things.
You jump to the stage. Those are standard because they even implemented those. Those were reaches at a point. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like they're now we don't even see it as such because they worked out so well. But when you were making a racing game with Mario, he can drive now. Like like for real, think about it.
No,
Like,
Mario's done everything.
Yeah, but that was before there was a point where he didn't. Like
No, for sure.
and the Mario Tennis. How is that game so good? It's tennis. Mario Baseball is better than baseball. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mario
Soccer.
Basketball is like playing NBA Street back in the day. Like, he's jamming on shit.
Oh, see, I didn't even know they had that one.
It's
Did they have them all?
Mario has a goddamn.
Yeah.
But so like all his games are like, wow. But then going back to even his story games, like Mario Sunshine, like let's go all the way back. Super Mario, we have a guy just 2D jumping up and down, jumping on heads.
Yeah, Jumpman.
That's all you can really do. Cool. Mario 64, when they gave Mario hands, that was like the biggest decision ever. And not everyone really got it. Sonic just got hands like in 2015. And that was only on Smash Bros. If you play a Sonic adventure game, find the newest one that they've done, Sonic's not punching out people, and it doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because Mario was doing this back in the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like, he even have a character called Knuckles. How have you not implemented a whole fighting system for this kid? So what?
They had a separate thing for that.
They didn't know. What do you
No,
mean?
like Shadow the Hedgehog.
None of them are throwing hands. And what game is there? A Shadow game where he's fighting fools?
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't they give it to your primary dude?
Yeah.
You gave it to Mario 64, not Wario. Like,
Well-
that's insane.
Well, I feel like the moral of the story is that I feel like I was gonna say Netflix, Nintendo. They're kind of the experimenters out of like the whole gaming industry, and I feel like most of the other guys they follow suit or they go for less
They're
creative pursuits.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, like, their ability to take leaps is, they might be the most, one of the bravest companies in modern history.
No, they are.
Like, because a lot of companies, like, are aggressive at expanding, and they might even go into different arenas and be successful or not. That's not necessarily courageous. That's pushing and keeping your momentum going and doubling down. But to take something that works knowingly, to see the trend all of your competitors doing, and say, fuck all of that, we're going to do this and you're going to love it. Over and over again. Like, when GameCube came out with their controller, you were just like, what in the whole fuck is this? It looked like an acid trip. Like, it's like, it fits my hands, but like, why is everything so crazy? They still use
Fuck
controllers.
GameCube, bro. Nintendo 64 was wild.
That's a wild controller.
They set a trend there,
And
like
that's after setting the stand. Like, really think about it. Really think about
yeah,
it.
because they had like the Super Nintendo.
Or
Yeah.
Nintendo. Super Nintendo is up from Nintendo. Regular Nintendo, I have a Nintendo controller over there. Just the fucking square.
The square. Okay.
2 buttons, direction pad,
Yeah.
start, select. Super Nintendo was that rounded off.
Exactly.
Sonic Sega Genesis is that is the Super Nintendo painted black and bulkier. It's 3 buttons, directional pad, start.
Oh, I thought that one looked like a PlayStation controller. Just
No,
older.
PlayStation was the first with that.
okay.
But like, so it's set a standard, even up to PlayStation. It's still this directional pads over, movements over here, shooting over here. PlayStation came with triggers, but it's still here. We're still keeping it here. Even up to GameCube, we're gonna keep it here. We're gonna make it weirder now, and you're gonna love it. Still a standard for those games to this day. And then they said, all right, fuck all that, and came with Wii. You're gonna do this now. Like no one else even thought about doing it.
No, they leveled and they constantly did it.
But look what they did though. Wii comes out, the little bar up there sitting on your TV. Every if you buy a fucking PlayStation or an Xbox, you're getting the little bar because now it's incorporated. They set new standards.
Yeah.
Like by breaking their old shit. Like that is courageous because like Apple has given us the same iPhone with updates chasing the size. They refuse to break the format to boldly go. They're like, no, we boldly went. We're not going anywhere else. We're here. And Nintendo's like, boldly go. Trend set. Super successful. All right, that worked out. Break that shit. Everyone's making consoles. We're going to make a console you can take and put in your backpack.
And we haven't even talked about handsets.
Huh?
We haven't even talked about their handsets.
Their handsets?
You know, Nintendo Game Boy. Nintendo.
They created the whole mobile
Yeah.
market.
And then fused it for the Switch.
That's what I'm saying.
Like the Switch is both.
They created it. They let it go. The whole space people thought were dead. And they were like, fuck you, we're bringing it back right now. Dude, they're really, really incredible.
They're opening
They're opening a theme park in Japan this year. It's set to launch, hopefully, pending pandemic shit. But I saw like some images from like video, just like far off from it. It looks crazy. It looks like a video game, but it's real life. Because of like that Nintendo shading, because they're never like super realistic. It's always cartoony, but like you're
the bright colors.
But even the softness of it, like the tree. I don't know how to explain other than what a Mario game looks like. The park looks like that in real life. I don't know how that's gonna look close up.
Okay, I see. Like it's like a drawing style almost.
Yeah, but but just the world. So if you're looking at just imagine that building looked like it was drawn and not,
Yeah. It's like they took all sharp angles out of the world.
Completely.
Yeah.
Super soft, cell shaded. It looks amazing. It looks massive. I want to go.
Have you ever heard of that new Animal Crossing game? It's gotten really popular. I don't.
No. I thought Animal Crossing was stupid when the first one came out. I was like, okay, this is dumb, and people were like, no, we kind of like this.
It's like The Sims, right?
Yeah, but weirder.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about as much as I know about it. But yeah, it's a simulation game with these. It's like Sims meets Tamagotchi, maybe. I'm sure it's more to it than that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, because the most recent one, all I know about it is in this most recent version, you have your own island or city, or you have your own area. And in playing online, you're going to visit other people's area, and you guys can work on the area or do it, regular online play stuff. And I was sitting here just thinking, yo, We're making these steps to virtual reality, man. Like we're getting there.
That's what.
That Minecraft and go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'd be interesting when you see the Nintendo park. It's a quick blur. Like especially if they have mascots running around in there, and somehow those mascots are better than the ones at like Disney. Like if you're
It doesn't look like a mask.
If you're a kid, that I would lose my mind. It's already crazy as a kid, little boy, little girl. You grow up on Disney cartoon movies, and you go and you see goddamn Princess Jasmine and Aladdin just rolling up, and you get they're real for a second. You know what I'm saying? That 5-6-year-old, you're just like, yo, this is happening. This is not a drill. I'm here, and you look around the park. There's a giant castle. It feels surreal. But this is like that, only they put their foot in it today. It's like everything Disney would have done if it started today. It just looked, I was wildly impressed from very little information. It's not even like I saw like a guided walk through the park. It was literally just some guy on like a camera phone from out here sneaking like, I hope they don't catch me doing this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was impressed.
Are camera phones right now comparable to professional cameras?
Yeah, if you get a high-end camera phone, I don't know what the best camera phone is right now. Like after like the Pixel 3,
okay.
I'm sure someone usurped it. That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, but like if you get it. I'm saying this because I got into it with somebody. We're talking about cameras, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, the whole point of how great technology's gotten is that you can put multiple features into one thing. I was like, you have advanced calculators, but I was like, you need a really high-end calculator to have a better calculator than the one that's in my phone. My phone's gonna have a lot of the features that most calculators have: cotangent, tangent. I got it. It's there.
Sure.
But he was like, well, if you get the ones that do charting and stuff, I'm like, yeah, but like, how much do you have to pay for that? Like, you're gonna have to come out of some change. It's almost a whole phone in itself.
Okay.
But we were talking about it, and I was kind of went to the camera.
There's not a charting app. There should be an app for charting calculations.
Oh no! It is. I mean, it probably. Yeah.
Like because that's
in the discussion. I just said whatever you don't have on the phone automatically, someone's made it. Like that's the point of the phone that's so great. Like
everything that's not. Say that again?
Yeah, if you like, the calculator comes with the phone.
Right.
Like, it's already in there. But if I need the calculator to do more, or there's some feature I don't have, someone's most likely made that feature.
Yeah.
And I just go download it and I'm done.
Yeah.
But I was mostly talking about like the technology because I was like, if you have a camera phone, I was like, back in the day, you might have a camera on the phone, but your camera's trash. Understandably.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, these advances in technology has allowed someone to put that camera, have it be a high quality camera, and still maintain the other features of the phone that make it great. And that's because technology, you can make this stuff smaller and more useful. Whole conversations in the context of airplanes.
Because even to me, in the context of the camera, like these are kind of different. I think some things are case by case. Like wide nets can get kind of weird here. Because like in the case of the phone, I think to your point, like Haymaker would have went there is double down and say that the camera phone has led to the increased performance of all cameras, like standalone cameras, because they have to compete. So when you start like a hyper competition of having to advance yourself, that's how we got here in the first place. And that's how we'll get where we're going.
Yeah,
it's that hyper competition. So yeah, for the camera portion of this, I would say even that combining of the tools even led to the standalone tools being better.
For sure.
Because they had to keep up. Yeah,
and I mean I was really going hard because we were talking about like specialization versus generalists, and I was saying like technology's gotten far enough that you don't need to specialized completely. Like you can, unless you need something that's like the highest end. A lot of the time, if
What are we talking about? People or things?
we're talking about things, we're talking about technology. So like we started off talking about airplanes. The government was trying to make a plane that could work in the Air Force, Navy, and Army. They wanted it to work in all three.
Why wouldn't a plane work in all three now?
They have different features that they need. They have different ways of being able to get caught. Some of them work like the.
Did you know the Navy has more airplanes than the Air Force?
Yeah, it has the largest Air Force.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they work in consort with the Marines. That's how you kind of get to that.
Yeah. So like what? Yeah.
But they use different planes. They might use like the same type of a plane, but they'll use like a different model. They'll have a different model for each. They want to make just one.
All right, so
yeah, and
sure.
his complaint's kind of like, I don't know why they'd even try that. That sounds crazy. And I'm like, well, technology's getting better faster, so it's worth trying because we've been able to pull it off on other instances. What instances? The phone. The phone takes a lot of different devices.
I want to be clear. What is he arguing against?
More or less that technology, you can't make something that's going to cover a number of features of specialized features.
Is that not just retarded?
It makes sense up to a point, but my point was that
not even.
It does. I mean, you can't have 3 different landing mechanisms on your plane and then still maintain all the other functions to be.
You can though. We have planes.
They failed it.
Huh?
They failed it. They would have had it done by now if it was that easy.
It's not true. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not possible.
Okay, fair enough.
SpaceX's whole thing was making a rocket that can fly up in the air and land back down straight up. That's a building-sized thing flying into the air and landing.
Yeah.
They blew up a lot of fucking rockets live on stream. Like, oh, this is gonna be a great day here at Kennedy Air Force or space space launch base in Florida. The fuck is that place? Cape Kennedy or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, in stream and Elon
that's not 2 different specializations though. But I agree.
I
agree with what you're saying. And I mean, my whole argument was that maybe that wasn't the case 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But I was like, the technology is coming now. It seems like every year we've advanced by leaps and bounds. If we can't do it this year, we could probably do it next year.
No, I completely agree with your. I'm just trying to figure out his argument to begin with
his argument was that
it doesn't seem founded well.
Well, it was founded in that the government, they fund a lot of research, but they're not really experimental in their research, and the stuff they do experiment. Well, I mean, I know, and that's just off of watching a few YouTube videos.
But we don't though.
I mean, out of what we know, out of what they tell.
Yeah, but you don't tell when you're experimenting. That's why you experiment, because there's nothing to tell yet. I'm telling you, I'm working on some shit. I'm making you hype on stuff I'm experimenting with.
They do it all the time, though.
No, they don't.
That was the whole point of our first discussion. They were trying to make the plane. They're hyping up the plane. Planes still don't work. It's been 20 years. That was their whole thing. We're working on it. We getting it done.
That's because they paid some contract to do some shit. Those are big space contracts. That's I would say if you want to sprinkle something on there, that's someone trying to help fucking Boeing stock prices and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, we just signed this big new contract with the government making this new. It's same thing when your boy was redoing Air Force One, and he's like, "Yo, Boeing, make me this new plane." Yeah, we're gonna keep this a headline because you feel how you want. You know that we just got this contract to make this new plane, so money's coming in. That's the headline. Okay. Money's coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, no, we don't know. If you're experimenting on humans, you think you're gonna just be yo, so this is what we're playing with right now. What's gonna come from it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but I expect them to be way more straightforward with the new technologies they're trying to make.
Why?
Like,
Why? No.
I mean, it's one thing to experiment on a human body. It's another thing to say we're trying to make this machine.
No,
it's very
because,
different.
No, it's not. Because if you have the idea, if you're like, if you have an idea to make something, missing the word, specific to you, like you're not gonna, you're making a technology that you're gonna sell. Like you're making Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you I'm making Facebook until I've launched Facebook. Because if I tell you I'm making Facebook and what it could be, then you can figure out how to do it and beat me to the launch of my own idea. Like that's how fragile ideas are. Because all it takes for someone else that can execute it to be like, oh, that's tight. This is how I would do it, and fucking do it. While you're trying to fucking figure your shit out.
Yeah.
Like it's sick. That's just good business and that's just smart way of moving.
It's the most fucked up sounding thing, but it's so great.
What?
Getting your idea hawked like that.
It's not. This is big, what part? Like this is just stupid. Like you're an idiot. If someone beats you to the launch of your own idea, if you held a press conference saying I have this idea, that you're retarded. Like,
Well, I mean,
or you don't want to succeed.
I mean, in that context, yeah, but I mean, just the idea of someone hawking your idea and getting to it before you is a crazy idea.
This happens all the time.
Oh yeah, it does.
People
It
livelihoods are lost in one-off. So,
oh no, for sure. It's just that when you put it in that perspective, it's like, damn, like this is real life's funny. Real life is very funny.
I don't know. That literal scenario just ruins lives. Like it's not. They play with this. It comes up even in billions. So like you'll get to see how fun that shit is.
No, I mean,
it's not like it's really like the worst thing. So to induce it or say that they should be doesn't make any sense. Like no one does that because no one does that. You wouldn't ask of a person that just has a good idea. Yeah, tell me all about your new thing that you haven't really thought about. Have you worked on it? No, I'm in the beginning stage. Well, yeah, tell me all that you got so far. I won't do anything with it. Yeah, that's okay. You trying to win or not? Like for real. Like, what if you think you should? Yeah, if you think that's how you should move, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to get it. None of your ideas are going to be executed by you. Ever.
Yeah, no, I mean, even further than that, just in general, you shouldn't put too much of your business out there at all.
No,
that's past even
your ideas. Because even think about how much people copycat stuff. iPhone comes out now, all the phones have screens. That's one example. Everything's copycat. Something comes out.
It goes to every level.
Exactly. So imagine if those people had the opportunity, the once in a generational lifetime, however good the idea is, to front run that shit. You think you're not gonna get 7 of those things in a sweatshop tomorrow? It's human nature.
I'm here to start my money machine.
Yeah, for real. I heard you have a new money printer. How do I set that shit up? You haven't set your shit up, so you haven't even started milking it yet? Nigga, please. Like, come on. So,
I'm so happy to hear this. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, yeah. You've been watching Billions. This is what they tell me more about this, and then Axe goes and shorts your whole shit. Like, yeah, this is literally that's the through line of Billions. Don't tell people your shit because someone's listening or someone's trying to find out, and if they can make a profit, and it helps you or doesn't help you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the context of the government, I kind of thought they,
This goes back to expecting too much of authorities. You be thinking they're going way harder than they are. Like they got the space to be able to say that. Like what they gonna do? Like nah, China gonna come right through and make that jet.
That's not really. It's just not good business. Like it's not. That has nothing to do with. I don't think there's anything wrong or right. You shouldn't be. For making something new, you don't tell people you're making something new until you've made something new. That's just government. That is true as much as that for an alien as it is for a child. Like you know what I'm saying.
The reason I was saying that is just because the shit they're making is different. but it just levels up with whatever their level's at. So.
And I'm tired of people putting like the government in this different plane of thing as well.
In some cases, they are in this extra plane of thing. It's just not in as many as people would think.
It's not even. I don't even, because it's just composed of people brought from private sectors doing the thing there. So,
Or better yet, what's an example of what you're talking about?
probably, really everything. Yeah, because like
Name a thing.
I don't know, we can do weapons. We can do. Well, we don't really make a lot of shit either.
Well, that's kind of where I'm coming into it at. Like some shit, the military, it's just what they do. Not a lot of other people are doing it. Like they do that.
No, but it's not.
That's what I was
they
saying. What's an
have it,
example?
It's just them buying it. Like I think most of the things you think were developed in the military was just someone sold it to the military. Like you think that they're developing these things. People are developing them, and they're like, who would fucking buy this? These motherfuckers with the armies and shit. And they give out billions of dollars all the time. That's the most budgeted thing, probably the most single budgeted thing on the planet is our military. Like, no more money. So it's not just these scientists locked away in this fucking thing. No, it's the guy in your city or in Silicon Valley was like, yo, I just thought of or in Louisiana, if you're talking about guns, go down south, some kid in Louisiana, he's just like, yo, I just made this new ass scope. It can see through trees and shit. And he's like, who would buy this? Everybody would buy this. Who would buy $1 million at a time? Uncle Sam. So I'm gonna go to DC and I'm gonna run these meetings, and these generals are gonna shake my hand and tell me, yeah, we want 1,000 of these. They're not even making them. They're just buying them. Like, the shit's made in China because you can't even make them in Louisiana. You understand? Or in Israel. Like,
I'm not paying those employees $15 an hour.
They don't have the infrastructure to do it. It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a business, but it's even more so. It's a business that exports to other businesses for the things they need because they're not trying to make a profit. So they have that out. Like no other company can run like that because we have to make money. We can't just keep spending stuff. But their point is not to make money. It's to have the stuff. So spend it. That's why the budget's like billions of dollars. By the end of my lifetime,
we don't make shit. We get shit.
In our trajectory, if the dollar is still a thing by the time we get old, the budget for the military will easily be in the trillions of dollars if it's not right now. So I have no idea where it is. I just know it's crazy, and it will. We've talked about making it smaller, but like it's not gonna happen. I remember it was years ago, but they're talking about budgets. Maybe it's like even when Trump was like running. They were talking about, yeah, we're gonna put more money in the military. And General was like, bro, we don't need more money, bro. We literally have tanks. It was like, make more tanks. I think he said we're gonna make more tanks. I think it was when he was running. Yeah, we need more tanks. It was like, bro, we literally have storages full of tanks. We don't drive. Dude, they're like Saudi princes when it comes to like shit like this. Yeah, I have the Lamborghini Countach. I've never really gotten around to driving it because I have 20 more. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how we are with tanks and shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, we got that drone last year. You
yeah,
late.
and had no one to bomb, so it's just chilling. It's got cobwebs. It still works, I think, hopefully, but it doesn't even matter because we bought 3 more new ones. You need the new season, son. It's like we're always copping the new kits every time.
It's like the Jays.
It is.
They dropped the new ones. The government.
Where the old ones? No, I'm getting the new ones. You know that, and these are for resale. Unless we go to war, then maybe they're resale to like Iran or Iraq.
The government's
like, run it.
The government's that aggressive motherfucker that's in line early in the morning. You
Our
that will not let you cut him.
Our government runs our military spending runs like a 6-year-old hype beast. I'm collecting these shoes. They might be worth something down the line. I might wear them. I might not. But I'm getting new ones. I'm standing in line. I'm on the websites looking for new blogs. Who's got that new? Oh, this new colorway you coming out. You got You got the new camo. Is that black camouflage? So I can't see you and I can't see you again? I need that. I need 20 of those. You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do with it? I don't know. Don't ask me these questions. Like, we just got it like that. We got stockpiles. So, no. Yeah, I don't... Like, government has scientists and shit, but your badass scientists are the ones that they're trying to recruit right now. You know what I'm saying? And they're the ones that are being scooped up everywhere else.
To his credit, homeboy I argued with, he was saying that all of the best
technology, especially for like coding and shit, he was like, that's they can't keep him. He was like, they can't keep him because it was like, what paycheck are you gonna give him? Like,
Yeah.
he was like, whatever paycheck you're gonna give him, the regular company's gonna have a more aggressive, competitive one.
And because I'm in that position, I have to want to do what you want me to do. That's also a big thing. Because in that what you're saying, money's taken out of the equation. I get money. It's gonna happen. Someone's gonna offer it to me, or I can just hack into the bank and steal it. That's how I'm getting that. Like, really.
I'm the 21st century bandit, essentially.
So now you have to impress me with the task. You know what I'm saying? Is this even interesting to me? Like, you know, there's all you have to check. You have now more check boxes to box.
Yeah.
Check boxes to mark because you're not dealing with base motivations. I'm not starving. I don't need anything. I'm comfortable. My lifestyle is comfortable. I'm getting money from my current employer. You want to send me away for more money? That's awesome. But I don't like how you get down. I don't want my code used to bomb insurgents in the Middle East, like, or whatever, you know, or you have a number of any given reason.
Yeah.
But it's your patriotic duty. Well, how about this? I'm not that patriotic. Or maybe you are, and maybe we'll lock you in Guantanamo if you don't take the job. Maybe I can find some patriotism. I don't know how they get down in negotiations, but you have to go through all these negotiations if you want some of the people you want to get.
Yeah.
Because they're good, because they've earned their position. And that is why you specialize. Because those are the people who can get shit done when the shit needs to be done. The person that's only been thinking about that thing for their life.
Yeah.
Like, right, they probably have the answer. If they don't, we can be confident that no one does.
Do you still think technology should be as specialized though, or do you think we can kind of make things to do as many tasks as we want, where we're getting to? Because
It's
I
not
feel like
a-
that's happening more and more.
I think I don't think it matters. Things are going to be condensed. More things are going to be condensed into
Less things.
less things naturally because we're all about convenience. So we're always striving towards convenient. So whatever saves that little bit of time, or at least gives the guys a saving time or saving a step. I don't have to hand you this money; it just goes into your account. Or anything in the case of reducing friction, or taking things out of my pocket, all that kind of shit. So yeah, things are going to be condensed, but that doesn't lead to things being. That doesn't mean specialized things don't matter or whatever, because I don't know. I never count out the fact that we have all the things. Like could be something brand new next week that I didn't think could happen, would happen, didn't even know someone was working on this. And I keep bringing it back to the iPhone because it was a real game changer. Like if you were super nerdy into it, you knew that they were working on something, but they wouldn't let you see it. Lockdown, leak visuals. Like, what is this? Could this be a thing? And you didn't even if you got a thing, you didn't know what you were looking at. Because it's just like, this isn't a thing. I have nothing to go off of. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, there's no buttons. It's just a screen. I don't know how this works. You tell me, that's not a thing. Like, so, you know, I don't ever count out the fact that can happen. Because it happens. Like even the Switch is crazy. It's like it's not a mind exploding, but it's a small explosion because it's a merger of things. It's like we had gaming, we had your platforms for the living room, and you had your Game Boys and shit, and then when those died, you had the interim of people on their phones because phones came and said to good space. So that space was presumed dead. It's like, all right, well, if you're gonna game mobily, you have your phones, and we have plenty of thousands of millions of games and apps. And Nintendo's still like, no, I think we got this. We're gonna make them one thing. You can play both in both places, so you can be on your commute playing the game, get home, put it on your big screens, play the same game. We're gonna build the controllers into the fucking console. Suck it. Like,
That was crazy.
It's insane.
That shit was
we
nuts.
that's what I'm saying. We kind of, these things happen and we're just like, all right, that was cool. Good job. No. You need parades.
Yes.
Because who thought to do that?
Yeah.
No one ever thought, like
In that I was like
if you ever go to a sleepover or if you ever had a game console as a kid and you had to take it somewhere, you were just like, damn, this is a lot. This is a lot.
yeah.
But no one made it to this has to be a better way. All of these things should kind of be one thing. And some Japanese guy was like, whoa! And he did that shit. Like, wow. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. No, I like and like we know running theme of the show. I miss everything. I didn't even know anything about the Switch. Somebody rolled through. They put the Switch on. They're like, "Yeah, we gonna play." Like, "Oh, whatever, sure."
Yeah.
Here's your controller. Like, just took the little side off the whole system. Like, yeah, hold on. We need to talk about that. Like, we need to stop.
Yeah, dude. And you put them back on, and they just work there too. Or man, it's a genius thing, and it bucks shit, but it also plays right in with their design direction because they've established this whole style of not going hyper realistic, so that makes all their shit age better because you're not always like, ugh, look at this. It's that, but it's way lesser because it was already cartoony to begin with. So it's.
And it attracts a different audience.
But see, they even merged that shit. That's what I'm saying. Like,
What do you mean?
Everyone plays Smash. Everyone that would be in the Madden plays Smash. Like Madden was that kind of thing where it's like, all right, we're giving kids, but these adult males love this shit. Dude, Smash is young and old, guy, girl. Like they kept their style and brought everyone to them. That's what I'm saying. Like it's really, they didn't relegate to just keep. We're going with the style. We know it is aimed at kids, but fuck that. Like we're gonna aim at them. You can always aim at the kids because they roll with you forever once they grow up. But we're not gonna forget these adults because they're the ones actually making money out here. So we're going to get them too. So you're gonna see full adults out here with Switches in their hands playing. Like we watched this comedian. He says he plays like his Switch. He plays FIFA on the Switch every day, and it's new FIFA updating shit, but it's like graphics of like PlayStation 2, maybe. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it just works.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Nintendo. Like, I don't know what to say.
Y'all need to know we love you.
Yeah, I like innovation is really. So I don't ever count out. I don't count out the people that are really experimenting. The people that are really the geniuses. The real, like the fact that we're living in a time where, like, bring back to the rocket. We have reusable rockets. That's a feat. That's a feat on every level. Like a feat of like, if you see it happen, it's preposterous. It will warp your reality of just shit happening. Just imagine a building landing from the sky. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it doesn't explode, and we can do it again, and we can fill it up and do it again.
It's a crazy thing for me because, like, I don't know if TV inspires some of the things we do or if the things we do are, well, it must be both. But TV has an interesting thing to do with innovation, I think. Like, back in the day, you had to tell somebody a story of how things went. Like, you just said, think about the building flying up in the air, come back down. I didn't think about a building. I thought about the big-ass ship in Man of Steel that they used to redo the world. And it comes down, falls straight into the ocean, starts remaking the gravity. But I don't have to picture that. That's not imagination. That's an image. I know what that looks like. Or like the I don't know if you saw that a guy made trying to make Iron Man flight. He was able to fly. It doesn't look the exact same, but he succeeded in making like propellers for himself. But these people are able to see what's on the movie or on the TV, and they're like, okay, well, I just have to make that real, more so than having to start from scratch.
I think sometimes for sure, just because science fiction is so wide ranging, so much has happened. But I don't think for the real innovative that plays that big a role. But I could easily understand being wrong. Because if you're just some kid one day happened to catch the right thing on TV that just never left you and snowballs into whatever. But because all even the examples you gave weren't like people innovating. It's just that's just copying the art. Because even the Iron Man, the Iron Man suit, he built the Iron Man replica.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't create Iron Man, because if you want to replicate something from that movie and become a trillionaire, it's the core reactor. That's the whole. All the other shit's cute. It's tight. It's awesome. But that's the duplicate that shit. You want to put some ribbon machine shit that's not gonna look great on the gram, but if you win this, because it's not so much possible until it's possible.
Yeah.
So those aren't really people innovating anything. Those are just kind of cosplay.
Word.
But I see what you're saying. I believe that could happen, but I don't think it really happens.
I can even use the iPhone. Like when you think about different cartoons back in the day and how they would portray futuristic communication, it was essentially an iPhone. It looked a lot like an iPhone, and then they came out and they just made it.
You'd have to actually find that because that's not the case in a lot of cases. Like Back to the Future, big sci-fi.
For sure. Well, I was talking about cartoons.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't even seen Back to the Future, so it's a whole different thing there.
Well, but that's a thing.
Yeah.
You understand that this is a really famous movie
For sure.
involving time travel,
Rick
to
and
the
Morty.
past and to the future. Rick and Morty, loosely based off these characters. Okay. Well, so he goes into the future, and that's where we got the hoverboards. You've seen the Nikes, the self-lacing Nikes. That's from him going to the future.
Yeah.
So these are things people tried to reproduce because of the art, right? Nike made the self-lacing shoes on the anniversary, or they released them on the anniversary of the Back to the Future coming, and the hoverboard, which we never, well, not never, but we haven't made real hoverboards, but that ideology was from the movie. That's what they were trying to achieve. Whatever.
The Lexus tried that.
Yeah, so there's in that scene, he goes home, or he goes to a house, and he's in there, and they're talking on the phone. It's a home phone. Oh, that's Simpsons.
All I'm saying is the cartoons that come in.
No. Stop right there. There's cartoons, and then there's the Simpsons. Simpsons have been on some other shit. That's a whole that you can't throw this giant arc out here and then show the Simpsons.
All right. Well, which one was the old TV show that was I think it was the same makers as the Flintstones, but they were set in the future. The Jetsons. Okay.
Yeah, they didn't have a phone.
They didn't?
It was like a home video phone.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
I watched all the Simpsons. All the Jetsons.
Okay.
No, they had a whole robot. They had a dog with its own treadmill. Their cars folded up into briefcases. Yeah, but they did not have a portable phone. Yeah.
More like they had the watch.
I think it might have been the little...
Yeah, they had almost like a smartwatch.
Yeah, but it wasn't even doing shit though. It might have only communicated.
Yeah, it was for video. Yeah, it was the same.
Oh, did the thing pop up? So it was like a...
It was like the TV.
Or not hologram, but a little screen or, projection would come up. But yeah, that's close. And we
Yeah,
don't.
'cause, like this is the actual.
Yes,
in
it's
the
just-
TV mode,
right.
And that's in like the watch mode. If they're the same thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good enough. But yeah, we don't have any of those things.
Yeah.
Like,
know.
the only thing we have, they didn't put in there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that plays as much influence on real shit as it does from the cool stuff we see on Instagram. There's a mind-boggling difference
Yeah.
in between those things for sure. But yeah, what else? What else is there out here?
Yeah.
I don't even know what we were just talking about. Mine, like, my conversation mind is insane.
I started thinking about Spider-Man a lot.
Okay.
And I feel like he's going to be like...
Mike.
Oh, sorry. I've been thinking about Spider-Man lately, and I feel like he's gonna be like Disney's Pokemon. Like he like you just can't get rid of him. They've gone through like 3 different actors. The cartoons have had like I don't know how much. Batman and the other ones they go away. They take breaks, but like Spider-Man, he's not going anywhere. Like he hasn't. Like I don't think I've ever seen a time where he was gone. Because if you don't have a TV show, they're in the middle of making the movies. If they're not making the movies, they still got the TV show. At one point, I think they had 2 TV shows.
Okay.
And the video games, and...
I guess you said this like Spider-Man's like new though. Like,
It's not that it's new, but I feel like...
because even before everything you said, Spider-Man was around.
Yeah, he was definitely around. I'm not acting... I wasn't trying to make it like it was some new thing. But I don't feel like we've acknowledged how... Compared to other heroes, he's like ubiquitous. You don't get away from Spider-Man, really. Like, Batman's in the same league, but he doesn't have the same consistency of content.
Well, alright. Let's break down that. Because, well, yeah, but Spider-Man's a fan favorite. Though. I guess that's why that's not even like a secret. Yeah, he's probably like, him and Wolverine would probably be the most people's favorite characters from Marvel. And that's pre all the movies.
Yeah.
That whole run, even I'd say even pre the Sony movies, even before Spider-Man 1 came out,
Cartoons.
when it was still cartoons and comics, it was Spider-Man and Wolverine, and maybe some other assorted X-Men, girls like your Storms and Jubilee, and Spider-Man had the cartoon. It was a great cartoon, and had his whole villain.
Yeah, he had a little roster.
His roster lined up. But yeah, I feel like that's why they go so hard. That's why, like, when Marvel was having the money problems, that was the first thing they sold the Spider-Man. It's like, well, no, this makes money. We just can't make this to make the money, but this will do it. And they shot 3 of those bad boys up and literally broke records for movies, and all-time grossings and shit.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 2, for sure. So, yeah, that's not really yeah. He was so good, they made a black one. Think about that. And not even killing the other one. Not even replacing it. Let's just do another one. Put them in the same row. Fuck it. Like, they know each other. They're tight.
That's what they had to take a little page from the DC book. You know what, guys? Like, it's working so well.
No.
We'll just do that fuck up shit you
No,
do.
you're talking about like Green Lantern?
No, I'm more talking about like Flash.
Yeah, Flash is more messy to me somehow. Like, I know it's the exact same thing, but I never really sat well with that. Well, because at least as I understood it, like from like comics, there was like 3 Flashes, but they all didn't like hang out together. It was like one after the other, like one replaced the other, or all through time.
They were in different universes, kind of.
Not even that. I wasn't just. I'm like same universe, but just like one literally like dies and like
Oh,
the
okay.
mantle's taken over. Like Green Lantern's almost only less direct. Like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like,
No, I get what you're saying.
but close. But once they started having like we have two Green Lanterns, right? Earth Green Lanterns. Hal and
John Stewart or something.
John Stewart. They weren't chilling together. Like, Hal had to die. And then John was like, oh, found his ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, they weren't just like, one's black, one's white, both green. Like, it wasn't a thing. So, yeah, I don't even remember. Yeah, so Spider-Man, they just play with it.
Well, I think that
love Spider-Man.
I use the Flash not for all three Flashes, but specifically for Barry and Wally.
No, you nailed it. I can see you're right. These are the exact same thing. It just feels weird, different to me. That's just because I really love Spider-Man, honestly.
Well, and I also think DC just executes on sometimes the same idea worse.
Oh.
That's, because like they copy each other's heroes, but that doesn't mean you like them the same.
I think it goes both ways. Usually when someone tried to copy the other one, pretty notably kind of fell through.
Yeah, but like I feel like Marvel was better at it. Like
maybe I'd have to see the examples, but
like Quicksilver is their copy of the Flash, and like he's not like some fan favorite out here, but
I don't think Quicksilver's a good Flash though.
No, he's not. Like, what you don't think he's as what?
Good as Flash.
Well, yeah, he's not. He's not even a main hero. Like he doesn't even have his own like series. But I think he was done better than like who would I say? Their Dr. Fate. That's just their Doctor Strange ripoff. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, Dr. Fate's weird.
I don't care about you actively.
Yeah.
The Quicksilver, like I'm not really even
it's
thinking.
It's weird though. I don't want to miss the perspective on it just because we are where we are. Because no one really gave two damns about Doctor Strange before that movie.
Fair enough.
Like I'm saying, if they made a Doctor Fate or Fate movie and it was just hard, it could all change in the summer. Is what I'm saying.
And I also think that beyond the Doctor Strange movie, I think they had made a video game. They had made Marvel the video game where Doctor Strange was like a big character. And that was like 2008. It was like Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh, I remember. I think I played that a little bit. But
yeah.
I didn't play a lot. But
yeah, he was a big part of that. So I actually thought that's how the movie came about.
It might be, but at least they planted the seeds. I guess any character.
Your point stands, though.
Huh?
Your point still stands on that, though.
Yeah, I think they could do it if they did.
Yeah, like, because, and, I mean, they'd have the same steps Marvel had in that Dr. Fate's in their Injustice game.
Mm-hmm.
So they can just transition to movie from there. But, it goes back to they're working with the same ideas, executing worse.
Executing is everything. It's the difference between a win and a loss, and unforgettable and non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild right now, man. It's so much going on. Everything's an example of something.
Everything is an example of something.
Yeah, like you just look for it.
Yeah.
Like, everything's a lesson to be learned. Like it's not, or everything's easier to look at deeply because it seems like with us being able to just get information easy, and everyone just doing better, shit's just popping off.
I think that we're in we're in a time of high volatility. So the examples that we are seeing of different scenarios, we're seeing extreme versions of it. So those are easier to. It's like a parable. Like it's super easy to glean some of the lessons that should be learned from it because we're seeing it on the highest displays. Whereas we see some of these things happen. Smaller stakes, smaller scales. It's harder. It's more minutia or more gray area. But we're seeing like clear, no pun intended, just black and white. Like, okay, that was egregious, or that was completely okay. Like it's really there's no subtlety in some of these big things that are happening. Where you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can really get the lesson, and we can all get the lesson from it. Like, or not. That's really I want to say. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least we can fight in unison. Like,
yeah.
We're not we know exactly where we stand on the shit that we don't agree on, and that's something. Not even in the yeah. It's just something.
having the ability to at least be there, it's some kind of progress. I mean, in terms of communication, we've made a lot of progress.
I don't know. I would argue against that. I feel you. I think our communication's on the trash though.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying communication in terms of how intelligently we just do it between each other, but I'm saying our ways of doing it. Because now we can get, like, I get to hear somebody talking in Russia, and I don't have to travel anywhere.
Yeah, the problem is,
And
I
can respond.
A tweet, and it's just abridged thoughts. Like, it's
I get that.
yeah, like you're right. Like we have the ability to communicate more than ever with anyone, everywhere, more than ever. But when we do that, we do it very terrible. We don't do it at the best of its ability.
Yeah, and I was more thinking about like Skype and Zoom and shit. Like,
yeah, but you don't just Skype strangers though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for example, like you get like a pen pal or something. Y'all start talking on the internet. You go from texting, now you're calling, now you're video calling. It's a progression.
Sure.
And I mean, that person can be from anywhere.
Yeah, it's fair. You can, you have that ability to do that for sure. I guess it's just
because I wasn't, and that was, I guess that's a big part of it. I don't think our skill in communication has increased at all.
No, I think I got it. Our ability to for intimate one-on-one communication worldwide is larger, but our mass communications or
our skill at communicating,
or just not even just the
strategies we use to communicate. It's
just the idea, or just the whole point of communication is to exchange ideas. But if I'm throwing out the idea and you're not able to comprehend it as I intended you to, I fucked up, or something fucked up.
Yeah.
So this is broken. The system's broken. Yeah. That's what's happening. People have their ideas. People know how they feel, or don't. But that's a whole different. Let's just say people know how they feel. And
let's assume we're talking about someone that's conscious enough to know how they feel.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And they put that together and they send that out into the world. When those people somehow see that and take it as something completely different, then maybe this wasn't the best way to communicate. So, especially if that's happening at a high click, like you're constantly typing in something and you're just like, I can't believe that's how they took it. Every time though? Like one out of however many is something, and you still make a pivot to communicate better. But if it's a more than 50% clip, maybe this is a bad way of communication.
Yeah.
Maybe this doesn't work.
Yeah, and like that's you're hitting. I agree. Yeah, because I thought of it as like skill in communicating, and I related it in that, like a lot of the time people text each other, but then when you're texting someone else, text tone gets lost easily. Yeah. But you're still gonna text them because you don't really want to go into the all-in communication of like a video call or a verbal call, even though those are more effective. But so we're able to do the best communication. We just choose like, all right. Yeah,
but that's when you have to. I feel like everyone gets there for themselves because, you have to know when to communicate different things. Like if you're in the middle of a whole fight and like, or either extreme, you're in a whole fight with somebody, or you're in a really good place and trying to be fun and sarcastic and joking or even flirty, just trying to coy in any form of those. You know what I'm saying? Text isn't the best way to do this because something's gonna get lost every time because that's part of it. So for these scenarios, I need your voice or even maybe a FaceTime because I need you to not misunderstand any of these points because the stakes are higher. in either direction, either trying to salvage or break this up or trying to make something new. Those are high stakes as far as just relationship goes. So you gotta, in those situations, you gotta know that, yeah, if I continue communicating through this format, it's not gonna come out in anyone's benefit because it's just not made for this. And we keep doing that. We keep having the wrong discussions on the wrong platforms.
Trying to have convenience.
Yeah, in the sake to be convenient, but like it becomes super inconvenient because your whole shit falls apart, and you're sitting there like, I don't understand. It's not your. It's sometimes your fault. People say wild shit. A lot of times it's people's fault. I'm not even taking blame off of people, but
That
it's
doesn't
just
take anything away from that.
It's just two separate things. Like they can both be true. People can say dumb shit, but also this platform is just not meant to say everything or communicate. Yeah,
All
everything.
kinds of ways.
It's just not meant for it. Like we should think of communication the way we think of our social media, even though that's communication, so it's the same exact thing. But like some stuff you post on TikTok, some stuff you post on Instagram, some stuff you tweet.
Yeah.
There's a crossover in these, but as a person that participates in these different things, these different communities that certain things work better in certain places. You know that going into it.
Yeah.
So if we treated our personal communications that way, we'd just probably be happier. There'd be a lot less dumb shit. Like
For sure.
Dumbass sitcom scenarios. The misunderstanding is the crux of the old sitcom, and people put themselves in those positions for like no reason. It's the same amount of comedy.
It's and it's weird because I put social media. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, no.
I put social media in the funny box of like, I think that people, especially people that do post a lot, sometimes I feel like when you're talking to a person that posts a lot, like they're still talking like they're in post. Like, so it's like you're talking, but it's like you're in the wrong communication style. Like you're talking like I'm fans on the internet or something.
No, but they kind of are though, because like it kind of goes back to what I just said. Like even in that, when you're knowing the different kind of ways to post, you kind of are a different person. I think it's like Gary Vee was talking about that a long time ago. Like how, because this whole thing was like you should be posting on social media to promote your shit. And you should be posting on everywhere, even if you don't think your people are there. They are there because you know about it. So he was saying like even like if you're something playful, like a gamer or something, and you have like a video game channel, you might want to make posts on LinkedIn, even though that has nothing to do with gaming and it's people getting jobs and shit. But people that have jobs play games, or like there's more commonality there. But you have to come a certain way. You can't just post the way you're doing on like a Twitch post. It's not gonna get you flagged on LinkedIn. Like someone's gonna write you up.
Yeah.
But you can come a certain way, even with your content, to engage the way you want to. And so in that, you kind of are becoming a different person. It's like a interview voice. When you're in that interview voice, you're that person. You know what I'm saying? Like you're that character. You're acting.
Yeah.
Or, even if it's you, it's a different part of you. Like when you're angry and you're talking that shit like pre-fight or trying to sketch them up, in that mode, you're a different person. When
You gotta access different parts of yourself.
Yeah, and so we do that unknowingly on social media, especially if you're highly engaged in that. You are like, if you're a girl in your regular life, you're whatever you are, but when you get in that bikini on Instagram, you're that. Like, and when you're addressing these thirsty ass comments, you gotta come with that mentality, because if you handle it as the other person, they're gonna gross you out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You meet this thick-skinned bad bitch, not the regular one that has friends and goes out to dinner and lives and stuff, because they would hate her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or and that goes for anybody. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
no,
just the
it's-
type of social media person.
For sure.
But so yeah, it's it is the thing we do. But I think it's super natural because we do it even
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, I guess the only time it comes into
Do video games when you're on live,
yeah.
or driving in your car when you're talking shit to drive. You're different versions. Like you're heightened
Yeah,
for that scenario.
and I guess the skill of communication is one's ability to bring out the right side of himself for the right scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, like if you it's timing it's knowing when you need that interview voice to have the most effective communication versus when you need to be the diva bad bitch with a bikini.
Yeah, and we see that like on Twitter, it plays out probably like once a week now. Like he's someone that takes the wrong tone, didn't read the room, and comes out fire, and then people check him.
Yeah,
And sometimes you gotta lose a career. But that's about our time.
yeah.
We've that's another one.
Moral of the story: be extra careful on social media.
No,
Get
just-
checked.
Nah, the moral of the story would be different messages need to be communicated in different ways.
For sure.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Choose wisely. Oh, so yeah.
Double check which side of yourself you getting at people with.
Shizzle. But that's another episode, JTO. We'll see you next week. Like, subscribe, share with a friend,
Yeah.
hit us in the comments, do all that.
Ride with us to episode 50. We almost there, guys. We killing it.
Moving on up. Alright, so next